What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news. Some possible breaking news concerning Errol, Spence, and Derrick James. At first, I didn't want to believe it, but these sources have stated that sources close to Errol Spence Jr. have declared that he has broken ties with long-time trainer Derrick James. Calvin Ford and Roy Jones Jr. have been named as the top candidates to potentially replace James for the rematch against Terrence Crawford in December with the thinking emoji. And let me counterpunch. If this is true, this is not any good for Errol Spence. Because if this is true, we're just basing it on if it is. That meant Errol Spence had to go to Derrick James and have doubt after looking at the fight again, after hearing the instructions of Derrick James, after people ridiculing him on why he didn't stop the fight and his judgment thereafter and his response. And it's a lot of things you have to consider with these two guys. If he breaks up with Derrick James and has a plan to get another coach in December for Terrence Crawford, understand they're going to have to teach Errol Spence possibly a style that he's not accustomed to. Now, I've heard all the stories that Errol Spence can fight in a different way, and I just don't believe that because he's always done the same thing. He's always been the same type of fighter. Work behind the jab, chop to the body, beat you up. If he can't knock you out, you'll just be beat up. Consistent, hard punching, durable, you name it. That's him. Okay? That pretty much breaks Errol Spence down. A better boxer than we really think he is due to the aggressiveness that he commits to the body. Like my friend said, Bruce Vane. He's a black Mexican fighter. Right? So I don't see this guy, Errol Spence, if he leaves Derrick James, I don't see him learning anything with anyone else. I see someone potentially trying to teach him new things. But then again, from now, which is September, okay, to December, what the hell will they be able to teach him in that short amount of time? Especially after reports have seen that Errol Spence has put on some happy fat. He might be having another child after that defeat, right? You got to reinvent yourself after certain dramatic, tragic things occur, right? But nonetheless, we haven't had a confirmation. And what's bad about this is what's pushing this narrative. You haven't heard anyone come out to debunk it. So normally when this news like this breaks, it's like, okay, no, that's bullshit. Let me set the record straight. Get me on Fight Hub, Beyond the Gloves, if there is a such thing now, IFL TV, countless other networks and platforms to set the record straight so we can stop the rumors. But we haven't heard anything. Okay, that's one of the reasons that made me do this video. Okay, because it's not good either way though, because Derrick James has been with him. And, you've heard Errol Spence talk about how good his trainer was. So I just don't find that to be true. I don't believe that, okay? But if it is true and he does get Calvin Ford or he does get Roy Jones Jr., they're going to be up for a task that they may not be able to execute, And if they had the time, it may be debatable. But I do think and feel Errol Spence needs a rematch, but he also knows that he can't afford to take the tune-up. He has to go right into that rematch. Because what happens when Terrence Crawford, he's beefing with Canelo. These guys have started negotiations practically by talking shit at each other across the WWW. So he knows, look, I have to make myself relevant. I have this one shot. I have to take it. But then with another trainer, a guy that doesn't really know what it was like to be in that corner like Derrick James was. But then again, Derrick James didn't do a great job. So I mean, I can understand it just by that fight alone, but what about all these other fights? But here's the sad truth. All the other fights don't mean jack compared to the fight that he lost. So if it is true, people, I think he's made a decision to get rid of Derrick James because Derrick James has got him to a place, and that place is the only place that he can get him to, and that's the stopping point. But anyway, nonetheless, you guys tell me what you think of this still rumored news that Errol Spence and Derrick James has split ways. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.